Have you ever thought about giving up on everything? Have you ever woken up and felt like life has lost its flavor, direction, and meaning? Have you ever looked up at the sky and said, God, why is everything going wrong? Or worse, why are you ignoring me? Maybe you're there right now, going through pains that no one sees, smiling on Instagram, but bleeding inside, doing everything right, praying, going to church, and yet the pain doesn't go away. The struggle doesn't end. The process has no end in sight. Let me confront you with a truth that might shock you. God is not trying to comfort you right now. He is trying to transform you. You are not being punished. You are being shaped. But listen closely, painful processes do not last forever. But what you learn through them does not, and if you ignore the pain, or try to numb it with distractions, entertainment, or superficial religion, you'll miss the greatest opportunity of your life to be transformed into the image of Christ. Before continuing with this message, stop right now and do 3 spiritual things. Write in the comments, this message is speaking to me, or I am here. Like this message, this helps more lives be reached. Share it with someone you know is on the verge of giving up. Don't watch something that might save a life alone. Many people hear about Jesus and expect him to come and fix everything. And indeed, he came to give us life, and life more abundantly. But what few understand is that this abundant life is not the absence of pain, it's the presence of purpose. Jesus never deceived anyone. He was upfront. In this world, you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Notice, he didn't say maybe. He said, you will. It's certain. It's going to hurt. There will be a process. There will be a dark night. But he also said, I have overcome the world. Do you know what that means? That your pain is not outside the plan. It's within a greater purpose. And it is this purpose that will transform everything. Often, pain feels like an endless tunnel, a road with no exit. But the Lord, in his infinite wisdom, allows us to go through these periods to bring us to a place of total dependence on him. You may not understand why now, but God never acts without reason. He doesn't waste time. What is happening to you could be the greatest shaping process for what you will become tomorrow. Do you want to go deeper with God? Do you want spiritual maturity? Do you want to be someone who carries the presence, authority, and power of heaven? Then prepare yourself to be broken. Joseph dreamed of a throne and was thrown into a pit. Then he was sold as a slave, then unjustly, in prison. All of this after receiving a word from God. And here's the point no one tells you. The promise may be real, but the road to it is painful. Psalm 105:19 says something scary about Joseph until the word of the Lord came to pass. The word of the Lord tested him. In other words, what God spoke to Joseph became the very testing ground for his faith. The pain he lived through was not punishment. It was training. The prison didn't kill the dream. It shaped the man. And maybe you're living something similar today. God is using every difficult moment, every rejection, every tear to purify you. Difficulties are not a sign that he has forgotten you, but that he is preparing you for something much greater. Don't be fooled. There are no shortcuts in God's process. It's pointless to try to escape the struggles because they are the ones that make you strong, that make you resilient. God won't use you as you are. He's going to break you first. He'll destroy your illusions, your supports, your plans, not out of malice, but out of mercy, because there are things inside of you that need to die. Pride needs to die. Spiritual vanity needs to die. The need for control needs to die. Adultery disguised as faith needs to die. The expectation of a life without a cross needs to die. What you think is important often needs to be destroyed so that the essential can be revealed. You might think you know what you need, but God's wisdom far exceeds your expectations. What he has for you is better than any plan you have in mind. And don't be deceived. Pain is a part of the process. Pain is God's tool for removing what is not eternal. Look at the example of Moses. Moses was raised as the prince of Egypt with status, power, and knowledge. But God didn't call him while he was in the palace. He called him in the desert after 40 years of being forgotten. Why? Because the Moses of the palace was proud, impulsive, self-centered. God had to kill that Moses to resurrect another, humble, dependent, ready to free a nation. Pain was the process of purification. It still is. And maybe you're in your desert right now, not as punishment, but as preparation. Don't think that God has abandoned you. On the contrary, the desert is where he wants to make something new out of you. Transformation in the desert. doesn't come from what you think you can conquer. It comes from understanding that you are nothing without Him. And it's this understanding that will take you to a deeper level of intimacy with the Father. Have you ever thought that your pain today might be someone's prayer answer tomorrow? The woman who suffers now might become the spiritual mother of many. The broken man of today might become the counselor to kings tomorrow, but only if you don't give up in the middle of the process. You may not see it now, but the pain you're carrying has a value that you don't yet perceive. It will bear fruit. It will come, even if the opposing wind insists on blowing. When the Lord uses pain, He doesn't waste it. Every suffering you face has a purpose for the glory of God. Hebrews 12:11 says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it." This is so powerful. Pain does not automatically produce fruit. It only generates results if you are exercised by it. In other words, if you allow God to train you through it, it's not enough to just endure pain. God wants you to grow through it. If you are like a vessel that, when broken, surrenders to the hands of the potter, He will mold your life in a way that reflects His glory. Pain, when given to Him, becomes an opportunity for formation, a fertile ground for the manifestation of His presence. Many people give up because they think God is silent. But listen carefully, the teacher is always silent during the test. God's silence is not abandonment, it's trust. He has already instructed you. Now He wants to see if you truly trust Him. Jesus, on the cross, prayed, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Even being the Son of God, He experienced silence, extreme pain, the felt absence of the Father. But He didn't give up, because He knew the cross is the way, not the end dot, and on the third day, the silence ended. Pain turned into glory, death turned into resurrection. If your process smells like death, prepare yourself. God is about to resurrect something. The pain of the cross was not the end, but the beginning of something wonderful. Every tear, every cry, every moment of anguish was a seed that sprouted in the resurrection. If you surrender to God's hand, He will transform your tears into songs of victory. When everything is going well, it's easy to be a Christian. But what about when everything falls apart? When the answer doesn't come? When the diagnosis scares you? When betrayal comes from those you trusted? It's there, in the pain, in the dark, that your real faith shows up. God doesn't want your religious performance. He wants your broken essence. He wants you to seek Him with a sincere heart, one that doesn't care about looking strong in front of others, but one that pours itself out before Him. A broken heart is the only one that can truly receive God's touch. Psalm 51:17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O God, You will not despise. Do you know what this means? You can be in pieces and still be precious to God. He does not reject the broken. He draws them close. He uses the broken, those who have nothing to offer, to show His greatness. It's not about how much you have, but how much you are willing to give to Him. Romans 8:28 says, "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." Pay attention. It's not only the blessings that work together. It's everything, even abandonment, cancer, bankruptcy, disappointment, divorce, mourning. Nothing is wasted in God's hands. God will not leave any of your pain without purpose. He transforms what seems useless and uses it for something eternal, no matter what you're facing. If you surrender to Him, everything will work together for good. But you need to allow Him to transform your pain into testimony. You need to surrender in the process, because listen to this, the process you resist is the process you repeat. If you don't learn now, you'll live this cycle again. But if you break, surrender, and trust, you'll come out of the desert stronger, more mature, more like Christ. Now, look inside yourself. How many wounds do you have hidden? How many pains have you denied? How many processes are you trying to skip? God is calling you today, not to accuse you, but to rebuild you. This pain has a purpose. This tear has a value. God is saying, I am your refuge, your comfort, your Father. And the most important thing, it's not how much you are suffering. It's how much you are willing to learn and surrender to God. In this process now, I make an appeal. If this message has spoken to you deeply, if you are ready to allow God to use your pain for His purpose, do something with it now. Like this message, comment I am ready. Share it with someone who needs to be restored and lifted. Follow our channel so more people can hear this truth. Don't let this opportunity pass by. what God wants to do in your life is for eternity. This could be someone's last chance to hear this word. Turn your pain into purpose.